You may know that one of the basic principles found in the Bible is the principle that no one can see the face of God and live. It's as though the face of God is taken to be so overwhelmingly beautiful and intense and powerful that our brains and our bodies are simply not wired to be able to handle it. We find that principle expressed in places in the Old Testament, like Exodus chapter 33, and the same principle is alluded to in the New Testament in John chapter 1, where we are told that no one has ever seen God. This tradition in Scripture wants to honor the holiness of God, which will not be manipulated or controlled in any way. But there is also another tradition found in Scripture, one that gets expressed in texts like Matthew 25, where Jesus tells us that anything that you do to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you've done it to me, which is Jesus' way of saying that he comes to us in the face of the stranger. The Word takes flesh in Jesus, and then Jesus takes flesh in others, especially in the poor. That's what it means for us to have an incarnational faith. Christ can be encountered everywhere. It's the same concept that is expressed in Genesis chapter 1, where we are told that all people bear the image of God. Now, the implications of that tradition are absolutely gobsmacking, because it means that whenever you look into the face of another person, you may understand that you are looking into the face of Christ. Every person has inherent and sacred value. Your family, your friends, the neighbor who can get under your skin, even someone who might be your enemy. Christ can be encountered in all of them. Several years ago, I went to a conference in Montreat, North Carolina, and at the closing worship service for the conference, we were invited to walk around the room, stopping at each person. So we moved from person to person around the room, and at each person, we were invited to hold hands with the other person, and then we would look into each other's eyes and we would sing to each other, "You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God." And then we would move to another person and we would repeat the same song. And I will tell you that that was one of the most powerful experiences of my life. And it will not surprise you that most of us were weeping the entire time. And I honestly don't know which was more powerful. The notion that every other person was conveying the presence of God to me, or the notion that I was conveying the presence of God to them. And we all walked out of the room at the end of that closing worship service. We all walked out of the room with hushed voices. So, the next time that you're with someone, I invite you to look into their face with what might be called a second glance. So, let your first glance be the look with which you interact with them about whatever you need to interact with them about. But let there also be a second glance in which you call to mind the way that this person you are with is conveying the very presence of God to you, and see what effect that has on you. Friends, have a really good week, and we'll see you soon.